When I refer to I during these meditations, look at it like you are referring to yourself, the I that is you. So if I say something like, I am walking through, you need to look at it like you are walking through. So the personal I of you. Let's begin our meditation as we always do. Start by breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Do this for a couple of minutes. Again, I'm walking through a garden. There are beautiful trimmed bushes, flowers in the bushes, bees and butterflies about the flowers. It's a beautiful sunny day, not too cold and not too hot. As I continue to walk through the garden, I notice there is a very old temple. And the temple is made of a white marble. And even though it's very old, actually it's ancient, the marble is still pristine and shiny. I start to walk towards it. I want to see what is inside. So I walk through the garden, and it gets closer and closer. And as it gets closer, I notice more and more detail. How ornate the temple really is, with intricate little carvings in the marble, beautiful polishes, what looks like old ancient messages written in a foreign language, a very old language that I've never seen before. And I get to the front of the temple, and there's a staircase, maybe only 8 steps. And as I look up to the staircase, I can see the entrance at the top of the stairs. And there's big, beautiful columns that go all the way around the temple, just like in the old Greek style. So I take one step up. And as I do, I feel a little more relaxed. And then I take another step up. More beautiful, more relaxed. And then I take another step. And I notice the birds singing in the air as they're flying around. And then I take another step. And I anticipate going inside the temple. I wonder what is in there. And then I take another step. And then another step. And I feel relaxed. All I'm thinking about is the temple. And then another step. And I'm almost there. I look down and I see one step in front of me. And I think to myself, I am only going to think about the temple and explore it and what is inside of it. I am not going to think about anything that is going on in the world right now. In agreement with that, I take the final step. And I walk towards the door. And as I step inside, I notice there's a guard. Guard is wearing full armor. And he has a spear and a sword. The guard is very large, maybe 8 feet tall, very powerful. And without saying anything, he points to a giant kettle in the corner. And the kettle has fire inside it. And he says, you must leave everything in the kettle. You must sacrifice. So I walk over to the kettle and I realize that the flame is blue and white coming out of the kettle. It's extremely hot. I kind of feel the heat, but yet I kind of do not. And I realize I must throw everything inside the kettle that I've been holding on to. It looks like more like a torch flame coming out of the pot than it does just a regular fire. Very hot, very powerful, like a jet. And I look at it. I don't want to give anything up. I just want to walk around and explore. But the guard's there, and that will not be allowed. So I think to myself, well, maybe these are the things that I needed to get rid of anyhow. So in agreement, I decide to start throwing things in there. So I look at the flame. It's getting brighter and hotter and more powerful, more like a jet engine coming out of this pot than it is a nice, comfortable little flame from a campfire. So the guard walks over and says to me, you must examine yourself and throw everything into the pot. So I begin by throwing in my judgments, and then I throw in my classifications, and then I throw my fears in. And as I throw each of these in, I watch them instantly burn up. They completely disappear. As I throw them in, they glow for a brief second, and then they're gone. And then I throw in my desires, my wants, my ambitions. And when I realize I throw my ambitions away, it scares me for a second. And then I realize it's necessary. And as soon as I do, I feel better. Because I know I've thrown my human ambitions, my personal dirty ambitions away, and will replace them with a more clear spiritual ambition. So my hesitancy is gone. And I continue to throw other things away, like my desire for love, companionship, being right, friendships. All these things I throw away, wanting something from others, expectations of others. And I continue to throw all these things in the fire. And as I do, they burn very, very hot and just simply disappear. So I decide I'm going to stay here and continue to do this with anything that pops up into my mind. Even the need to help people, the need to get my fair share, the thinking that others may be talking or scheming. Everything goes into the fire, good and bad. So let's take a minute to do that. Anything that pops into your mind, throw it into the fire and watch it disappear. Any and everything goes into the fire, into this jet, in this temple. It all goes in and burns up to disappear forever. Anything that you can think of, any ideas, any concepts, any familiarities, any habits, any needs, any desires, lust, greed, the need for some sort of supply, a hobby. Everything goes into this powerful jet to be burned up and vaporized and disappear forever. And I can pause this at any time so I can continue with my throwing away and the burning up of things. And I'm beginning to have some confidence that what I am burning up is actually maybe helping me a little bit, even though at first I didn't want to give anything up because I feel like holding on to such things, I'm holding on to myself and my world and all those around me. But actually I'm not. And I begin to realize this. And the more things that I throw away, the more that will come up, and I will continue to throw them away. And for today, once we have reached a point where we do not easily find things to throw away, then we take a few steps back from this jet coming out of this giant kettle. And we look around the room for a minute. And we notice the centurion, the guard, is no longer there. And we take a few steps. And we look around the room. And we can't see really good. But we notice that there is a portal, a door, that is in front of us. And it's dark in there. And there's an ancient inscription above the door, written in some language. And we realize it says, "Leave all behind and enter here." So we decide to trust with our intuition. And we walk through the door. And as soon as we do, it's bright and beautiful inside. And we sit there for a few minutes. And we look around. And we realize there's only peace and harmony. And as we look around, we see nothing but a light that is getting brighter and brighter. It's very comfortable, but it's getting brighter and brighter. There is no clamor of the outside world, just peace, quiet, non-thinking. And I realize that this light is closing in around me and actually taking over my being. And as I relax deeper and deeper and allow this light to become me, I realize this was my true being. This is what I was meant to be. And I continue this way until I completely become the light. And now I am ready to continue with my day, living in the light as my true self, my true being.